Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3. Pink Panda is developing a mobile wallet, an exchange, and easy access for crypto novices. And with me is founder and CEO Adam Carlton, and also Gene Truono, the senior compliance advisor. Welcome, Adam. Good to see you again. I see you have brought a guest today. Would you like to introduce us?
Thank you. Good to be here. So yeah, Gene is as you mentioned, our senior compliance advisor. Maybe Gene, I'll let you do a little introduction as to your background.
Sure, great. Thanks. And thanks for having me. I spent 30 years in financial services with big banks. My most recent engagement was with PayPal. I was their global head of anti-money laundering compliance, developed that, and then became the chief compliance officer. We looked at crypto back in 2012-13 timeframe when there was only Bitcoin. Now there's a significant broader range of cryptos used from, but we did an analysis on all of virtual currencies as well. I've spoken at a number of global conferences and related to this subject. Very fascinated, I think, as everyone else is, in the future of payments and money as it relates to the cryptocurrency and the blockchain in particular. So that's my background in a nutshell.
Okay. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about crypto regulation. I think Gary Gensler, the head of the CEO, just said last week that the U.S. will not follow China in basically banning Bitcoin, right? And mining. I mean, what's your read on the current regulatory environment in the U.S.?
Yeah, so I think the environment is still somewhat uncertain in that we don't have firm and clear guidance. I think we have plenty of guidance in the regulatory compliance space as it relates to money laundering, terrorist financing, consumer protection. And I actually think at the end of the day, we'll probably see a lot of similar regulations around the crypto space, and in more particularly in our avenue of the DeFi token space. The regulators aren't quite sure what to do, I think, because no one around the world really has figured it out. The U.S. actually was ahead of the game in a lot of places in requiring that crypto exchanges be licensed as money transmitters. What we're seeing now is some of the federal regulators in the U.S., along with the White House, looking at how they might, at least for the stablecoin cryptocurrency market, require that they become banks. I don't think that will be commonplace across the board, but I think we'll see definitions of the entire DeFi and the blockchain infrastructure, and the regulations that are already there will follow.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people in the industry are welcoming regulation. I think they feel like it would legitimize it. It would clarify how they can build their business. I mean, are you finding that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it creates the level of certainty, right, that we're looking for. Right now, we don't really have clear guidance in some of the areas as it relates to whether it's a token, a security, a commodity. And so we're looking for that so we know how to comply. I think, by and large, is it always the case, probably 98%, 99% of the industry wants to comply. We're just not quite sure exactly what to do. Although I think we at Pink Panda are looking at it from a perspective of, we're going to use the existing framework in order to meet the regulatory expectation.
Okay. Well, that was my next question, is how are you preparing for this kind of constantly changing environment?
Yeah, so the market right now is just so much more developed and mature than it was even 5 years ago. And so there's a lot of third-party players in this space that help do the know your customer, the identification, the transaction monitoring that we didn't have a couple years ago. And so it's probably easier to leverage certainly the technology, but also the partners in the business and the industry that can help us continue to comply.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Adam, can you elaborate on that, and then also kind of give me a general sense as a CEO where Pink Panda is headed in the near term?
Sure, absolutely. And, as Gene mentioned, right, we stay in constant touch with not only the existing regulations and how they may apply, functionally and technically, right, to the products that we're developing. We also recently joined the Global Digital Asset and Cryptocurrency Association. It's a long acronym there, but basically it's a self-regulatory association that we felt it was important to be a part of. Their mission is around building public trust and market integrity, right? And that's just part of our ethos. So to me, it's more complexity maybe, but it's necessity. We want to be ahead of it, ahead of the regulations as they come out and as they're clarified. It's just that simple. So, and then to follow up on your question, we've been really active since we talked last time. We've added a couple key players on our team, a really amazing React Native developer. We've added an exchange architect who we'll be naming in the next day or two. So, and then actually yesterday we had our alpha wallet come out for internal testing. So we're on track for our beta to be released by the end of the month. And then after that, I think we talked about this last time, as we're building in a swap, and then after that, a fiat on-ramp. And then we actually will have that functionality where a crypto novice can get onto our application, either through a credit card or through an ACH, put some money in and actually swap for crypto. So that's really the first big step before we then start building out the decentralized exchange and access to DeFi assets.
Well, that's interesting because we talked about, and I mentioned in the intro, it's an on-ramp for people who are novices to the industry. And I still get a lot of questions about what is Bitcoin? And, and even when you explain, they're still kind of like, I just don't get it. Like, it is a very different paradigm around money. And I think it's hard for people to grasp, but you at least will make it easy for people who want to kind of learn and get involved.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think one of the, longer terms initiatives we want to build into this is, some education, right? Whether it's videos or whether it's descriptions within the application, or just simplifying a lot of these concepts for people, and making it so it's not such this complex and cumbersome environment to understand. There are a lot of equivalents out there where you can say, well, this is almost like a bond. This is almost like, this different type of asset, and how that you can expect return to come from it, but underlying complexities, right? And what is exactly a blockchain is a more complex, conversation to have sometimes. So building out some education capabilities, we think is really important as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Adam and Gene, for coming. And it sounds like you've got a busy few months ahead of you with the rollout and following everything that's going on in Washington. So thank you for updating us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.